Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I will be your host today, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my non-Irish brother. You're not wearing any green, Alex.
You know
it's St.
what?
Patrick's Day. Ow! Hey, don't touch me.
Hey, man.
Don't touch me.
It's St. Patrick's Day. I have to pinch somebody. I haven't pinched nobody all day. I don't care if you're wearing green or not.
You're just pinching somebody?
You're just pinching.
I saw a guy today, his shirt said, "Pinch me, see what happens."
Did you?
No.
Pussy.
No, I didn't take it as a threat.
Oh.
A physical threat. I took it more as like he would.
Maybe he would like
something
it.
would ooze out of his head or something.
Maybe he would like it.
Exactly. I was very fearful of that.
So this weekend, my wife and I got rid of some payroll. So, I got a daughter in the Navy. My son went with his grandmother. My daughter went with her other grandmother. So, no kids this weekend.
Damn, y'all party it up?
Man, let me tell you. We started off Friday night, right? I get home from work. She's getting ready, right? And we decide to go to a carnival, right? And we're like, fuck, we're going to act like little kids here, right? We're going to get on all the rides. And
ride the teacups and get sick.
Yes.
That sounds like fun.
We just got on the ones that just did mad spinning,
Right, because you want to puke.
Yeah, like the Ferris wheel, we didn't do that because that goes too slow, right? So you want
Plus
to
it's high and you're afraid of heights.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not tall enough to ride that one. So we get on about 3 rides, right? And good time. We're like little kids. Awesome. And so we're like, all right, let's get something to eat. We get something to eat, and we got some cheese fries or whatever. It wasn't a big portion. We shared it. We're like, all right, cool. Regrouped. Went on a couple more rides. It wasn't that big of a carnival, but we knocked out five different rides right there, right?
Right.
And so she decides that she wants a funnel cake. She's a big funnel cake fan.
Love funnel cake.
Delicious, right? You can't go wrong with a funnel.
Absolutely love
and if you go to a carnival, you have to have a funnel cake.
That's one of those big ass turkey legs.
Yes.
I agree. I'm with you.
So we went the funnel cake route. And they're making the funnel cake. Doesn't take that long. We happened to peek into the little kitchen that they have. And when they pull out the funnel cake out from the oil, this thing looks gigantic. And not only is it big as in round, round, right?
It's thick.
It's freaking thick.
Like a big waffle.
Yes.
Excellent.
So
I like where the story's going.
I feel like we're at IHOP here eating.
This is gonna be great.
So we start eating the funnel cake, and we can't even eat half of it. That's how big it was.
That's a big ass funnel cake.
It was. And so 3 minutes, a couple minutes pass by, whatever, and we start walking around, and we start feeling a little, emergency coming, and she starts to feel it first, and then we're like, all right, well, let's go to the car, drink some water, whatever, and see if that helps or whatever. So we're just chilling.
Which never helps.
And so we end up. So then I tell her, I'm like, hey, listen, let's go home. We got the bands, right?
The wristbands.
Yeah.
So come back.
Exactly. So we're like, it was still early enough, and so we're like, let's go home.
How far away were you?
It was at Katie Mills.
Oh, so you're like
10
5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're like, go home. We'll both take care of our business,
right,
and come back out.
You've got more than one bathroom. This is doable.
Exactly. And it was 9:00.
Oh, plenty.
We had about 2 more hours until the carnival closed, and so we get home, and I can't even tell you. Time really went forward. Because I was in there way longer than her, and I thought she was the one with the issue.
Not surprising.
And this was no phone in the bathroom. I really had to take care of business. I'm talking cheeks tight.
No phone, no magazine, no iPad, no nothing.
Nothing. This was a focused Mondo Duke that I dropped.
Concentration.
Yes.
Full concentration on the process.
Needless to say, we spent the rest of the night on the couch watching a movie.
Running to the bathroom occasionally?
I got up at least one more time. It was. I'll tell you what, that funnel cake was.
You think it was the funnel cake?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we were good. And we were good. The funnel cake did it.
So memo to self: don't eat gigantic funnel cake.
No.
I'm surprised you look back at the kitchen because I've looked back there.
You probably don't want to.
And the one time I looked back there, I said, you know what? Never mind on the funnel cake. Because I was like, this doesn't look like it would pass any health inspector.
The final product of the funnel cake is much more prettier than watching that thing come out. It looks a big, gigantic sponge.
Well, hold on a second. But do you really think it worked that fast? Like, because, I mean... It was you and your wife, right? It wasn't like you and me. Right. You and I don't eat the same thing every day. But you and your wife, you eat the same meal several times. Maybe it was something you ate the day before.
No. It was that funnel cake. Because I'll tell you what, as we're eating it, it just became... I felt my body changing, and just being like, okay, Alex, you can't fucking eat this anymore. And I didn't want to throw it all away, and I'm telling you, we didn't even eat half of it. It was crazy. So that's how we spent Friday night. We enjoyed Saturday a little better without the kids. I mean, we were able to accomplish things and go out.
Didn't take a mild laxative.
Yeah. So
good,
it was nice. It's nice to have the kids,
away every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then.
I agree completely. So it's funny that you started the day off talking about shit. To me, the biggest news of the week. All right, let's get into the show. The Browns.
Wow.
Right? Not that they're shit, but the color, right?
Okay.
And the move they made, I thought, was not a shitty move.
No, that came out of nowhere because
kind of like the rumbly in the tumbly that you
yes,
came out of nowhere, right?
That shit came out of nowhere.
Well, no, it came out of the shit came out of somewhere, but the event anyway. So the Browns, the biggest news of the week, in my opinion, anyway. The Browns trading for Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
This is one of those deals, and I'm curious your take on it. I think it's a win-win. I think it's good for the Browns, but I think it's good for the Giants too. And my only concern is Odell was a bit of a head case with veteran leadership on the team. What's going to happen when it's Baker Mayfield leading the team? You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on that guy, but I do think Baker Mayfield's the kind of guy that can handle it.
Yes.
And so that's why I think overall, good move.
I think Baker and Odell are very much alike, actually. If you look at Baker's, just his attitude and
one's a blonde, one's a brunette.
Yeah, but look at Baker in college. I mean, he was kind of that, arrogant, kind of flamboyant, attention, stuff like that. I think they mesh well, but I don't know how long they can mesh this well.
The difference with Baker Mayfield and his flamboyance, as you call it, is he gets the ball on every play. So he can be that way and still kind of control his own destiny, so to speak.
Yeah.
The problem for receivers has always been when they're flamboyant, if they don't get on the same page with the guy throwing the football, they may not see the football, therefore they're not as effective. And that's the problem with Beckham.
But Odell should be okay with that because him and Landry have been talking about playing together for the longest. And Odell, I'm sure, tried to get Landry in New York. That didn't happen.
That's quite the duo.
In my eyes, Odell should be okay if he's not getting the ball as much as he got it in New York. So
yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to create some pressure issues.
Look, on paper, and if we ask who won, who lost free agency, we can. The Browns probably won free agency right now. They probably picked up the best player out there available.
Now they did give away a lot, which in the end doesn't matter if Odell turns out to be a rock star, right? But on the flip side of that is the Giants. I think it's a great deal for the Giants. When you look at what Pittsburgh got for Antonio Brown, the Giants made a killing.
Yeah.
They got a top 10 safety in the league. in Jabril Peppers, and then a lot of picks and good picks, right?
Yeah, they were able to get another first round pick, which that could be used as if they want to make a trade on draft day or whatever.
Right.
Peppers, I think, has the potential to be as good as Collins was.
Right.
If he can kind of be the leader of that secondary, that'll be really good. I think he's got better ability than Collins does. Collins was more like his coverage wasn't that good. He played really good when he was like in the box. Right. But I think Peppers is a good coverage, and he's a return specialist too. Yeah, so
that could come in very handy as well.
Yes. So at the time that we were sitting in my house and we saw the news break, you kind of digested for a couple minutes and figure, the trade looks great for the Giants. Okay, we're rebuilding. But then you go the very next day or 2 days after and you sign Golden Tate for 4 years, $32 million, 23 guaranteed. So now as a fan, I am a confused fan. I have no idea if we're rebuilding, if we're going for it. Like, what are we doing? I have no idea.
But that's not, and maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know, because I'm not a salary capologist, but
you should be. You're an accountant.
That doesn't seem like that bad of a deal to me. If he stays healthy, money-wise and commitment-wise, that does not seem like that bad of a deal. And it now gives you, before we had an offense where it was one guy and you had to stop that guy. Now with Tate, Shepard, Ingram, you don't know where he's going to go with the ball. I think it actually, look, I think the way it works best in the NFL is either you have a number one who is a number one, right? Mm-hmm. And he is unstoppable. Or you have them all kind of even.
Yeah.
And you spread the ball around. There's no number one, right? There's A, B, and C, and they're all lowercase. They're all the same. You know what I mean? And you spread the ball around. So I don't know that the Tate deal is a bad deal, so to speak, for the Giants.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm
rebuilding doesn't mean not signing anyone. You gotta have players,
right? But
you gotta make a roster,
right? But the Giants really don't have all this cap space that they can play around with. They chose to play around with it on Golden Tate. I think Golden Tate can help, but I just think that's a little. It's not my money at the end of the day. I'm just a fan. But if I'm looking at I think so for a 31-year-old wide receiver to give him more than half of his contract guaranteed.
And
I don't know.
And if he stays healthy though, he'll be worth it.
I don't care if he stays healthy or not. He needs to produce. Brandon Marshall was the healthiest wide receiver.
No. My point is Golden Tate, when healthy, produces. Golden Tate's issues has been his health. He can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he will all of a sudden, or that it's luck. Maybe he's just not built for.
Possibly. I don't know. I just wish. I don't know. We would get as a Giants fan, get just some sense of direction of where we're going. I don't know. I do believe that this has to be Eli's last year. It has to be. There's no freaking way.
I'm thinking. My thought process is that you package those picks and you go up and you get yourself what you think is the next franchise quarterback, and have him play 1 year under Eli, and then let Eli ride off into the sunset, and then make him your starter.
Yeah, I don't think
kind of like the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. I actually think that the Giants are gonna wait for Herbert to come out next year. I think,
guy from Oregon.
Yeah, I think they're gonna wait for him to come out. They were scouting him heavy last year during this past college season, and when he declared that he wasn't coming out.
But
everything stopped.
Isn't he pretty much gonna be a lock for number one, which means you got to go 2-12, 2-14 this year?
It's very well possible.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I don't know, man.
Tanking in the NFL doesn't work like it works in basketball.
No. But see, this is what I'm saying where I'm confused because the Giants actually in a different trade got an offensive lineman who's, not that bad from the Browns. So, I mean, and then you got a second season of Willie Hernandez, and then you got another season of Solder. But
the offensive line doesn't bother me as much because that's not dead money, right? It's a building process with your offensive line, right? You're not gonna transform your offensive line in a year, or very rarely do you see that happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what the fuck to think about them.
And then the other resident in New York.
Oh, the Step Brothers? Step siblings?
The Jets picked up Le'Veon Bell.
What do you think about that trade? Or signing?
I think it's good for the Jets because now they have a quarterback and a running back, right? Because they think, and I believe that Sam Darnold could be the man. He could be the quarterback of the future for that team. And the future's now.
Well, I think they are since they traded to get to
everything under the sun to get him. And he produced last year. I mean, he had his ups and downs, but he was a rookie, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the way it goes. So I think it's a great move for the Jets. Now they've got two pieces. They've got a decent offensive line. Their defense is good.
It's coming around.
So, they need some receivers. Who's Darnold going to throw the ball to?
Man, the only guy
is
that
Wayne
I know
Corbett still there?
What the hell's his name? Robbie Anderson?
Yeah, I have no idea.
He's fast. That's all I know. But I don't know any of the. Actually, wait. They did pick up a wide receiver in free agency. I mean, the Jets have made some moves, and I've always believed that the team that made a couple signings and trades during the offseason is a team trying to win, is a team trying to progress, trying to change what hasn't worked in the past. And I think the Jets and the Browns are a good example of trying to make something happen.
Corner, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make some moves at some point. I mean, whatever you were doing was not working. The only concern as if I was a Jets fan would be their coach. I mean, besides the googly eyes and all these weird faces that Adam Gase makes, he wasn't really able to control the locker room in Miami. You got Bell now. You got Robbie Anderson who gets caught up with the law.
Bell can control the locker room.
Well, yeah. Not.
Yeah, that is a concern. That's a good point.
But Le'Veon Bell is a great pickup for the Jets. He's got a year off. Hopefully he spent his time wisely, not smoking pot and training and all that. Actually, he just came out with a rap CD.
So he's singing.
So it's rapping, not singing.
Isn't that the same thing?
Drake sings. Bell raps, bro.
It's the same thing.
He's a rapper. Parapper the rapper. Who remembers that game as a kid? Parapper
Music.
the rapper.
Interesting for the Jets. Adam Gase. The Gase thing does kind of worry me.
And the other problem is you live in the same division as Belichick and the Brady Bunch. So,
Got to find a way to get around that corner.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is that you still have Buffalo and Miami in there, which are both going in the shitter.
Yeah.
So you still
definitely Miami.
You still got a shot at the wild card. Yeah, Miami traded away Tannehill.
Yeah.
Yesterday and signed Fitzpatrick today. Nothing's got to breed more confidence into your fan base as saying, "Hey, here's our franchise quarterback. Watch us do this." Whoosh, and what we're gonna replace him with? A career backup that'll win 2 games and have this city rocking before they go 4-10 the rest of the way.
Well, I mean, come on. Fitz magic. There was a little bit of magic in Tampa Bay. Now he's just traveling.
2 games.
Well,
For 2, I mean, he does this everywhere he goes.
No, yeah, I know.
I like the guy. I mean, and he's great entertainment. But at the end of the day, this is what he does everywhere he goes. He has 2 good games. People fall in love with him, and then they go 4-10 the rest of the way, and end up 6-10 in the middle of the pack in the draft, and not in the playoffs. I don't get it. Which becomes completely blah, and that's what Miami has now.
It's funny, Miami, Jets, Buffalo all made moves. Patriots didn't make any moves. They actually lost one of their big, good tight ends. It's just funny how the Patriots get rid of players and somehow get better, and the other three teams get players
and get worse.
And
Don't get
on
worse.
paper right now, the Jets of the other three look, the other two look good or better, but it doesn't really translate when the season starts.
No, and I still don't think they're ready to challenge the Patriots for that division.
No.
That being said, though, we still have a long way to go because the draft has to happen, right?
Right.
And that's the big problem is, we're talking a lot about these moves and what's good and what's not, but at the end of the day, it's hard to paint someone's off season as a success or a failure until you see how it goes in the draft.
Yeah. Well,
that's the big one.
It's a crapshoot. That's why it's it's so important to draft well.
Another team that I feel like lost in this whole free agency thing, the Texans. Lost Tyrann Mathieu, and they may lose Clowney as well, I think.
It's possible.
Is what I'm hearing, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Because J.J. Watt, I love J.J. Watt, but he's got to be... He's so many injuries. You just got to wonder if he's going to hold up for a whole season. And if you lose him as well, that defense that was what they relied upon is going to be in trouble.
I wish they would, ask Watt to reconstruct his contract. I mean, he's eating up a lot of that, and they just don't spend. The Texans really don't spend, and when they do spend, they don't really spend it on needs. Their needs right now are wide receiver and offensive line. You got to take some pressure off Hopkins. You need to protect Watson a little better, and you got to
keep that guy upright.
Yeah,
that is your season.
They haven't been aggressive at all this free agency. So yeah, I wish they would have made some extra moves, additions, not subtractions.
The one move that I think is going to be weird come next season is Terrell Suggs no longer in Baltimore. That's going to be weird.
That team's going to be in trouble. Defensive-wise, that team's going to be in trouble.
They lost Weddle, Suggs.
Mosley, their linebacker. They signed...
What are they doing?
On defense, I'm not sure.
Are they trying to get Harbaugh fired?
Now, Lamar Jackson has even more pressure in his second year in the NFL, right? Because now you can't rely on that defense to get the ball back. Now you got to make the most out of the opportunities you get with the ball in your hand. They got Ingram, who now could be a kind of like a safety blanket. But I can't name a wide receiver on their team either.
No,
they lost Crabtree.
Well, that's not a big loss.
Well, it's experience. It counts for something. So
you and I have experience catching a ball.
Well, not that kind of experience.
Oh, we got experience. We're experienced. We're 65 episodes. We're 67 episodes into podcasting. Yeah. We're podcast experienced.
So I don't know what the Ravens are doing.
We'll see what they do in the draft, but man, on paper, yikes. Anything else from the NFL?
I can't think of anything. If I'm missing something,
well, if you're missing something, it's gonna have to wait till next week.
I'll pull it up right now. No, go ahead.
You want to move on to the NBA?
We can do NBA.
So, what do you want to talk about in the NBA? Did anything happen this week?
We can talk about the WNBA starting. How about that?
Is it really? Can you name the defending champion from the WNBA?
Houston Comets, 4 in a row. That's all I remember.
That was like 15 years ago.
Well, it counts. They're defending
That's not defending anymore. Are they still the Comets?
I have no clue. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't fucking know.
So the Warriors are starting to look good again.
Yeah, they had 3. They've won 3 in a row. They lost to the Suns after we did finish that podcast. They lost to the Suns.
But then they beat the brakes off of OKC last night.
And the Rockets before that.
Well, they didn't beat the brakes off the Rockets.
But they beat them.
They beat them.
Without Kevin Durant.
It was a close game.
Without Kevin Durant.
It was a close game.
Actually, it wasn't. It was close towards the end, but it kind of wasn't.
It was close. That's close.
It kind of wasn't.
It was like a 7-point game.
And then I think they beat the Nuggets here within the last couple or whatever.
Yeah, they're looking like they're starting to warm up for the playoffs. It'd be nice if Durant was back, I'm sure, but...
What does that say? Does that say anything?
Where is he hurt?
He's got an ankle
he's got an issue.
I'm saying, but does that say anything about the team?
No, it says that one of the players is injured.
And then they can win without him, like they had before.
Well, but I mean, it's not about... Yeah, you can win basketball games without your star, but it's harder to win series.
Well, I mean, they have 3 other stars. What are you talking about?
It's easier if you have 4 stars.
Ah.
Plus a Boogie.
I'll tell you what, man. When Boogie came back, and I think one of his first few games was against the Celtics, I'm like, man, the Celtics should just fucking pick and roll this guy all day long and just,
Yeah.
And he's really looked a lot better these past couple days. And I don't know if it's because Durant wasn't there, but his passing was better. He was more involved. He looked. I mean, he's run the fast break a couple times.
He looks like he means it.
Yeah,
which is kind of a silly thing to say, but yeah, I've noticed the same thing. He looks like he wants to be there. He looks like he's happy.
Well, I mean, you're playing on the Warriors, I
know, still, like he's got his own ego and stuff, and he just doesn't seem to be letting that be a part of him. He's just playing basketball, being part of the team.
And I think that goes to show what Steve Kerr, what kind of coach he is.
I think Steve
because
Kerr's
he lets them just kind of. Of course, he draws up plays, but he kind of just lets them play basketball.
I think you're not exactly wrong, but you're not right. I think he does. He lets them play the game. But I think he has a steady hand there guiding them.
Right.
But it still all seems like he's letting them play.
Right.
And I think that's part of the mastery of coaching a team with stars like that. Something that Luke Walton, not that he has as many stars, but he's got the star, and he can't seem to do that with LeBron and company.
Well, think about this for a second. When Phil Jackson was coach of the Bulls and, they had that run, Phil Jackson would never call a timeout when you thought he should. What he would do is he would let the team figure it out. It's a lot easier when you have a Michael Jordan, right?
Right.
But he understood. He let the team figure it out, and I think Steve Kerr being from under that kind of lets the team. That's what I meant by just play basketball. Just let them figure it out on their own.
I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying is he's providing leadership, but letting them lead as well. And I think that collaborative leadership between all of the parties involved is really working. In LA, Luke Walton is trying to do it. I'm the head coach. I coach. LeBron's, I'm the greatest player. I coach.
Right.
And it's not working.
Yeah, no.
And we've seen it happen in other places. Brad Stevens in Boston is having a bit of an issue last year when those guys were young and didn't have any thoughts of wanting to lead. It was easy. This year, he's trying to coach and lead. Kyrie's back, so he's trying to on-court lead. And these guys now are maturing and feeling like they can lead. And that's where the problems are happening. And that's where I think Steve Kerr is so good is he leads, but he leads by pulling them in and letting them lead as well. Yep. You never hear of issues with Steph Curry running the offense, right?
No.
And I think there's something to be said for that.
Curry never gets mad. I've never seen Curry every once in a while you'll see him telling the ref call a foul. But he just goes out there and plays basketball, man.
Yeah,
I like him.
Curry's a pretty easygoing guy.
Yeah,
I like Curry.
But yes, the Warriors are playing better as of late. Rockets are kind of on their heels. They're only 3-4 games behind.
Yeah, and Denver's right there.
They're still the 2 seed, right?
Denver's still the 2 seed.
So a while back, I tweeted. I was watching Denver play on TNT, and I tweeted. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this Denver Nuggets brand of basketball. It felt kind of boring. And it was still early in the season, probably maybe like 30 games in. And as I've watched them throughout the season, what's his name? Jokic. We know he's good.
Is it Jokic?
Plumlee has come out of nowhere to play really good for them, who's a big man. And they use the 24 seconds on that shot clock. Like, they use all 24 seconds. They really control the ball well. I don't know how far they can go, just because maybe the experience is not there. But that coach, this is his third year. They've gotten better.
Every year.
Yeah,
no, they're looking good, too.
Yeah.
They are looking good. The Rockets are looking really good. OKC is struggling. They've just hit a rough patch. Part of it is schedule. Part of it, I think, is it's a long season. You're going to have some rough patches. They were involved in a pretty ugly incident early in the week. I'd be curious your thoughts on the Russell Westbrook and Utah Jazz fans incident.
As a fan myself that goes to games, I like to talk. I like to heckle a little bit. I don't see anything wrong with that, but there are certain boundaries that you don't cross, certain unwritten rules as a fan that you should not cross. Cursing at a player, talking, about their families, racism, stuff like that, I think is totally out of bounds.
Yeah, I agree.
Should be. It should not be tolerated by the league, by the players at all. So I just felt like if what the fan said is true, then it's a little out of line. And as far as Westbrook, I feel like there are certain things that the players shouldn't say either. It goes both ways. I don't mind Westbrook, kicking back some trash talk to the fans. I think it's good for the game. It's good for the atmosphere. But again, we shouldn't cross certain boundaries. So I think what Russell Westbrook crossed one. I don't think he should have. And he got a fine, and I think that's fine. A suspension wasn't warranted. I do think that the fans should have gotten thrown out. The fact that obviously does Utah have a soccer MLS team? Because they gave out a red card. I don't know if they understand what a red card means.
Apparently not.
A red card should have
ejection
gotten the fan out of the arena. Okay,
that whole red card thing was.
I didn't understand that.
What is the point of that?
But I guess they redeemed themselves. They kicked him out for life. He can't attend any more events, not only basketball, at the arena. So, but again, trash talking, it's part of the game. It happens.
I'm okay with the trash talking. I think when you get to areas where you're being disrespectful, and I think you did a good job of mentioning those particular areas, right? You're talking about their families. You're talking about racism, homophobic comments, things like that. I think that's where you draw the line, and anything that is meant to sound like a physical threat, and I think that's where Russell Westbrook was wrong, right? Because his comments were basically to the effect of, threatening physical violence, and
to his wife,
and to the wife or the girlfriend or whoever it was next to her, and in a sport like basketball, like tennis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that we see this in tennis, but where the fans are so close to the athletes involved, that should not be tolerated at all by any party. And that's the only reason I think Russell Westbrook should have been suspended a game, because you cannot threaten physical violence. In baseball, I mean, you got to hop over the fence, and then you got to get across all that foul territory before you get to a player.
I mean, can you imagine?
It's crazy, right? So they're a little more insulated in terms of distance. Not that it would make it right, and certainly there are times when they approach the side of the fencing area where they might have that type of interaction. But in general, the players are kind of insulated a little bit. But in basketball, I mean, the bench ends here and the fan is there.
Right.
It's no different than you and I sitting here doing this podcast. And that's where I think there's a problem. And you have to... I was very happy that Utah came out. They fucked up on game day with the red card thing.
Yeah.
But they've come out afterwards, and I think they've redeemed themselves and really sent a message to their fans and hopefully to fans of other NBA teams. And I think the NBA should have done the same thing with Russell Westbrook. Because threatening violence when you're this close is probably not a good move.
Yeah, could be.
You know, remember what happened at the Palace.
Yeah. Well, Donovan Mitchell came out. He had a long post saying that, this is not the Utah that he knows and he wants them to be better. And then I think the Utah owner came out and she spoke.
Yeah. Gobert came out.
Gobert came out too.
He also came out and said...
So I think they made the right move. That shouldn't be tolerated by anyone.
I think the organization sent a very strong message, and I think the fact that their own players came out and said something, I thought that was very good for the situation going forward, right? Because it says, even my own players think we shouldn't do this stuff. And because fans are ridiculous. I personally think, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But if I had to bet money, I would bet it was the fans' fault. Because fans can say some nasty, nasty stuff. They can be disrespectful. They can be racist comments or homophobic comments like that. And it's just unwarranted. Because in this day and age, where everyone has keyboard courage, everyone sits on their phone and has all the courage in the world to say shit to somebody on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, then they get into a game situation and they forget that 6'8" finely chiseled athlete is 15 feet away from me and could very easily come over here and kick my ass.
Yeah.
But I'm used to being a badass on Twitter where I talk tough, and all of a sudden like uh-oh. And I think, I wish fans would just stop that stuff.
Don't stop the trash talking. I enjoy it. I don't mind it.
I'm the same way. I like the trash talking, but I like it between the players. I like to go to games and cheer for my guys.
Right.
I cheer for my team. And I don't...
Oh, you got to talk some trash to the other team. I mean, you got to, man. You got to. Especially in a rival game, you got to. You got to.
Okay, like what game would you...
Oh, the Phillies and the Mets. Absolutely.
Okay, so you, who couldn't hit a glow-in-the-dark lobbed softball, want to talk trash to a finely tuned athlete that can hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
You're a pud.
Hey, Jay, remember? Jimmy Rollins. Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Talking trash. Without a doubt.
Cheering the guy's name I'm okay with, but what are you going to... You suck? You couldn't hit a wiffle ball if it was on a tee.
That's okay.
I don't
care. I enjoy the trash talking.
I enjoy the trash talking too between the players. When or like when you and I go play basketball because we both suck. I enjoy the trash talking.
See, you're boring. You just want to sit there, eat a hot dog, buy the ice cream off the helmet, and that's boring. I don't want to just sit there.
Does it have sprinkles?
I don't want to just sit there. I want to get up and cheer.
Let's not gloss over the ice cream in the helmet. Does it have sprinkles?
You look like a sprinkly guy.
I love sprinkles.
Do you really?
I
just said that trying to be funny. You don't look like the sprinkly guy.
Dude, you know me. I love sugar.
Well, yeah.
If I can get a bowl of ice cream, sugary cream, and put more sugar on top of it, fuck yeah, I'm in for some sprinkles.
See, I'm not the sprinkle guy. I didn't think you were the sprinkle guy.
I like chocolate sprinkles. I like the rainbow sprinkles. I like all kinds of sprinkles.
So you put ice cream on your sprinkles?
No, I don't go crazy with that. Because I really like ice cream. But anyway, yeah, at the end of the day, I think the Jazz handled it well.
On a positive note, while James Harden has gone off for 30-something games, over 30 points, the type of season he's having, MVP worthy, all the talk and attention that LeBron absorbs, as well as Paul George has played, kind of, snuck into the MVP talk. The Greek Freak, what the Warriors are doing, Russell Westbrook is about to finish the season averaging a triple-double for the third straight year when no one has even done it twice. When Oscar Robertson hasn't even done it twice.
This is going to sound ridiculous. This comment is going to sound ridiculous. But I don't think it's far off from being true. I think Russell Westbrook is the most underrated player in the NBA. Because he very rarely gets in these MVP conversations. His team, he had a big three.
Now, hold on a second.
It got stripped down to nothing. He's still blowing and going. They got him a new star. He's still blowing and going. He
won MVP. The first year he won the triple-double.
Yeah, he did. He did win the MVP that year. But
it might be warranted again.
Other years, he's barely in the conversation.
His numbers, his assists and rebounds per game are up this year. His points are a little down, but that's because Paul George is there now.
Right, and Paul George is filling the bucket,
So
now Russell Westbrook is awesome.
Early shout out to Russell Westbrook for having the type of season he's having.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. And you're right, he is having a monster year again.
What about in the East? We've talked a shitload of the West. The East, nothing really has changed. Toronto
that's what I was about to pull up as I wanted to see the standings.
I think the 76ers finally moved into the third seed, which I really felt that weeks ago. More so because I don't trust the
Indiana,
Pacers.
Yeah.
But
they are missing their best player.
Well, yeah, but I mean they've been playing good all season, through 60 games. They've been playing pretty good without him. So
right, but they're missing their best player.
No, yeah, I understand, but they were still playing good without him. All of a sudden
they were playing good for a team that does not have his star, but not as good as a team with their star.
I mean, but they were good enough to be a 3 seed the whole time.
Well, he hadn't been gone all season.
He hasn't played that many games.
They got
maybe 20 games.
They won those 20 games.
Not all of them.
They started off really good.
But I mean, the Sixers, I think they have scorers, which is good. I keep telling Jay they'd have no bench, and that team only is going to go as far as Embiid's knees takes him.
Yeah. And you know what? That's good news for the Celtics.
Yes, I agree.
The fact that the Sixers are up to 3 because now they get to play the Pacers. Albeit they won't have home court advantage, at least the way things stand right now, but they're only a game behind. They could very easily get that from them.
I'm just waiting for the Celtics, right? It's kind of just like you're sitting there and you're twiddling your thumbs and something's about to click and fuck, you look at the calendar and we're like 70 games in or whatever it is.
We're 70 games. We got 12 games left. Yeah. It's got to kick in soon here.
I'm guessing it will. I mean, there's just too much talent on that team tonight.
I don't know. I mean, you and I, we've been singing that all year long, but yet here we are 70 games in, and they haven't.
Well,
so we'll see. But that the top 4 is the only interesting part of the East.
Yeah, I don't give the other, the bottom half much hope.
That really. 4-5 matchup is worth watching. Other than that, it's trash.
It is, but guess what? I won't be watching every game.
Will you really?
Yeah,
I won't watch much of the first round.
I'll watch.
I'll watch the highlights. It's just I can't.
I've been watching a lot of basketball this year for some strange reason, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a pretty good season.
Yeah, no, I watch it. Like, I watch some good games here and there. Like, I watched the Rockets Warriors. I watched quite a bit of the OKC Warriors game last night. But, yeah, first round, if I get Milwaukee, Miami, I'm not watching that.
So, we're going to dive into a little college basketball. But before we do, the Pelicans are in March Madness mode. They're up 3. 6 seconds left against the Suns, right? Josh Jackson gets the ball, makes a 3, ties the game up. We're going to overtime, baby.
A second overtime.
That was in the first? Okay, we're going to a second overtime. More free basketball. No. The Pelicans call a timeout.
What's wrong with that? That's a good move.
It is.
Call timeout so you can set up your play to get the game-winning shot with like
exactly.
Well, how many seconds? There's like 6 seconds left, right?
Well, probably less than that because 6 seconds left.
Yeah, that's the right move. Call timeout so you can set up a play.
But no, they went all Chris Webber. They called a timeout they did not have.
Well, that's a problem.
And what happened? Devin Booker hits the technical. They win by 1 freaking point. I mean, as if their season couldn't be any worse. You got your star player not wanting to play. You might even get the first pick in the NBA draft.
It's a complete mess.
Real quick, what the hell do they do if they get the number 1 pick? Like, let's say they got the number 1 pick. They just happen to hit the lottery, and Zion's there. What do you do if you're the Pelicans?
Well, you take Zion.
You take Zion?
You take Zion
Because you're going to lose AD, right?
Well, I would think the play would be you take Zion and you tell Anthony Davis, look, we got you another piece. You want to stay or not? And if he doesn't want to stay, well, then now you've got your piece to start building with. I mean, what else are you going to do? Are you going to trade it away in the NBA?
That's what I'm saying. Why not trade it away?
For what?
Bro, you can stock up. Zion is out here fucking ripping his shoes, damn it.
I mean, well, no, but think about it. What are you gonna get for it?
Oh, I'm sure you can get something.
What? No, I'm serious. Go ahead, pull something out of the hat.
I don't know. I haven't had enough time, but I would say you can probably get some future first round picks and just
so I gotta shit the bed another year when I've got a franchise piece right here.
Absolutely, because you still got 1 or 2 other players that are making decent money that are sucking up some of the cap, and you can get rid of that too. I mean, I don't know.
I think in the NBA, if you get the number 1 pick, you use it, unless it's the year Kwame Brown is the best.
Here's the thing. Number 1, I'm sorry, but it's New Orleans. Nobody wants to go there. So what are you doing? Well, I mean, are you gonna? You can't even keep
Anthony
the
Davis.
best big man in the game. How are you gonna get other players to come to you and play with Zion?
But you got to start with something,
right?
If you don't have Zion, no one's coming. If you have Zion, maybe there's one guy that'll come. Right? Maybe Zion's got that one friend named Kevin.
Knox?
Last name begins with a D. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who you would get, but you got to start somewhere, and you don't get the number 1 pick all the time. Surely the Knicks are going to get the number 1 pick, right?
Well, I don't know. They just beat the freaking LeBron James Lakers today, and so they're still like 2 games up on the first pick.
Oh yeah, look at this. They are.
I think they're two
and a half ahead of the Suns with 12 to play. Surely they cannot win 2 more games.
I don't know. The Knicks really seem the type to just
3 in the win column. You got to look at it backwards.
Yeah.
The Suns are up 3 in the win column. The Knicks aren't going to win 3 more games.
I don't know. I mean, they're the Knicks. Yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus, don't let them win another game.
I mean, they could go on a 7-game win streak here. This is like a momentum building win.
With the 4th pick.
Oh God, that would suck.
That would suck.
So yeah, March Madness, man.
It's about to kick off.
I wish the brackets had come out already, but
How many brackets do you fill out?
You know what? This year I'm only doing 1. I can't keep up because at the end of the day, I'm more than likely already going to be out of 99% of them. And I lose track. I do one on Yahoo, one on CBS Sports, one on ESPN, one at the job. I forget my logins. I can't do it. It's hard work.
I only fill out 1 because, only 1 can win.
Unless you do 4 the same, then 4 can win.
Yeah, but then I'd be splitting the pot with myself 4 times.
Well,
I guess if I enter a pool that has first, second, and third, I could change one of those first round games.
Well, you have to.
And then I could get first and second.
You have to. You find a team with the none. This is a proven point, fact. We've seen it happen before. You find a team, usually a 13 seed, right? Saint, Bonaventure, and...
Did the Bonnies win today?
I have no idea. If there's one sport that I have not kept up with, which as much hype as there has been in college basketball, I haven't watched enough college basketball.
All I know is Michigan is good, and I'm excited to see him in the tournament.
Well, yeah.
Other than that, I don't really care. There's too many teams. There are like 350 Division I teams. It's too much.
68 make the tourney.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Does Duke win without Zion? Because
the tournament?
Yeah.
No. Look, Zion is a big piece. Here's my problem. People think Duke is gonna win because Zion is there. Duke's gonna win it all, and I strongly disagree. I think there's about 5 teams that could win it all. Virginia's really good. Duke is really good. North Carolina's really good. Michigan's really good. Michigan State's really good. Gonzaga's really good. Tennessee's really good. I mean, I just rattled off 7 teams without even trying, and I think any one of those 7 teams can go on a run and win 6 games.
Yeah.
So, although Michigan State just lost one of their players to a gruesome leg injury before we came in here.
That they didn't even show, so I wonder how gruesome it was.
It was that gruesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Duke losing without Zion. Zion is that team. The few games that I've watched Duke play, for as much hype as R.J. Barrett has, he was super sloppy with the ball last night against whoever the hell they played. Florida State.
Gonzaga beat them with who? Zion.
Duke?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't. Well, but Gonzaga always has these good seasons, and
I would call 29-3 pretty good.
Yeah, but then they shit the bed in the tournament. I mean, they get there late.
They made it to the Final Four.
No, I understand. Have they won?
No, but you make it to the Final Four. It's just 2 more games.
Okay, then they haven't won. So
they've played all these big teams.
Well, that's nice. I mean, Duke plays the same big teams.
They beat Tennessee. Tennessee was ranked number 1 for quite a while.
No, yeah, that's fine.
That's my point. Is there's a lot of teams that can win this tournament.
No, not really. There's really not.
I just rattled you off 7, and I think most people would agree that any one of those 7 teams can string together 6 games and win it all.
I mean, we can say the same about any sport. I understand what you're saying. They can, just because the NCAA tournament is so, unpredictable. But when you sit down and look at it, it's gonna be the same teams. You know, you're gonna have your North Carolina and Duke up there, and it's just gonna be impossible for these other teams. Look at Virginia last year; they had like the number 1 team all year long, and they get knocked out in the second round.
In the first round.
In the first?
They were the first 1 seed to lose ever.
I'm gonna keep that in mind. This year, we will not see a number 1 seed lose. In the first round.
Yeah, no, not.
It's not going to happen back-to-back seasons.
No, it won't happen back. It's taken how many years for a 1 seed to lose?
I don't know.
30? Yeah. No. Since they went to 64 teams, I want to say it's been 30 years.
Wow.
I mean, because they've had 64 teams since I was a kid. Well, maybe not since I was a kid. Teenager.
Either way, it won't.
It's been a while.
It won't happen again.
No, it won't. You got anything else?
Nada, brother. Nada.
You got a shout out?
I thought I had one, but I guess I don't. I don't have a shout out. I thought I had one. Go ahead, you can do your shout out. I don't have one. You don't have one either?
I'm waiting on you.
I don't have one. I thought I had one, but
my shout out, I actually have one. My shout out goes to Errol Spence Jr., who last night beat Mikey Garcia in a highly anticipated boxing match. Mikey Garcia they were both undefeated. Mikey Garcia was 39-0. Errol Spence was, I believe, 28-0. And someone's O had to go, and it was Mikey Garcia, and it was a shutout. Errol Spence put it to him for 12 rounds. Everyone, a lot of the commentary was that Mikey Garcia might technically be too good for Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia technically is a very good fighter, very tough guy. And Errol Spence just made him look silly last night. I mean, he put a jab in his face and never let him get close, and pretty much, won every single round. I think the cards are 120 to 107, 120 to 108, and 120 to 108. So he won all 12 rounds, and one judge gave him one round at a 10-8. There were no knockdowns in the fight, but I guess he thought it was that close. So Errol Spence, my shout out goes to you. That was a masterful performance last night. And then he called out Manny Pacquiao, which I'm like, come on, man, leave that old man alone.
Well, Pacquiao's the type to just go ahead and fight, too. That's the thing. I'm just tired of...
They're all looking for a payday.
I thought it was Porter who he called out.
Oh, he'll fight Porter, too.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of Porter. But, so...
Interesting.
Anything else?
Episode 67. You got a famous 67?
Jaromir Jagr. No, Jaromir Jagr 68. I got him.
You can't use that one now.
67. There's a good 67 hockey player, but I don't remember who.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, it's getting tough in the 60s.
Yeah, I can't think of 167.
Well, if you guys can think of someone with the number 67 for episode 67, or you want to tell us about another 68 for next week, you can reach out to the show at positivesports10@gmail.com. Email us at positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so at eMontana21 on Twitter. If you want to get a hold of this guy,
on Twitter at BrooklynGaucho1.
Excellent. And so we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. As always, folks, thank you for your time and listening. Attention.
Yeah, attention.
You can catch this on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, whatever platform you choose to listen and or watch podcasts. And with that, we're done. Ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.